ready for tonight's action between the Lake Stevens Vikings and the Jackson Timberwolves. Both teams going through their warm-ups right now, and we certainly appreciate you being on board with us and all of our sponsors as well. Nate, we're getting ready for a game in which we have a fast-paced team with the Jackson Timberwolves and another team, the Lake Stevens Vikings, as Mark Hayner said, they're averaging 44 points a game. That is correct. Obviously, they want to light it up a little bit more than that. They're a team that's going through a reloading, a rebuilding phase. They've had injuries, so they've got to crank it up themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the most exciting things about college basketball is you get an opportunity to see which team's tempo is going to be played. And like you said in pregame, one coach wants to play up-tempo, one coach wants to play a slower tempo, as you have teams one averaging 70, one averaging 40. And I really enjoy seeing which tempo wins out and why does that tempo win out. Yeah. And usually if you can play your tempo on the road, you have a chance at the end of the game to win.
I think that's a very good point, is tempo is such a key factor. And we did a game the other night. We've been working together quite a bit here on radio and television of late. Do want to check on the Wesco 3A standings too. Everett's on top with a record of 3-1. A very good team. Marysville, Pilchuck, and Stanwood behind them, each 1-2. Then Oak Harbor, followed by Marysville, Getchell. Then in the South, it's Shorecrest on top. Dory Monson's team off to a great start, 4-1 and 9-3. Except when we see him, he doesn't like to see us because they're 0-3 whenever we've done games of his Shorecrest Scots. Mount Lake Terrace 5-2, Glacier Peak 3-2, then Meadowdale followed by Shorewood. And you know what? I think we'll go ahead and get started on the starting lineups a little bit early here right now. And let's take a look at what the starting lineups are for tonight's game between the Lake Stevens Vikings and the Jackson Timberwolves. The head coach of the Lake Stevens Vikings in his 9th season is Randall Edens. First of all, starting at one guard position, a 5'7" junior. That's Cassidy Fifield. Also starting at guard, just a freshman, a 5'6" freshman. That is Kristen Glick. At another guard position, a 5'8" senior, Ivy Jacobsen. At forward, a 6'1" junior, Emily Vandegrift. And at forward, a 5'11" senior, Callie Long. So you got Fifield, Glick, Jacobsen, Vandegrift, and also Callie Long. And the assistant coaches, Gil McKinney, Steve Berg, Larry Palmer. The junior varsity head coach is Christina Schumacher. Now, taking a look at the starting lineup for the Jackson Timberwolves. First-year head coach, Mark Hayner. First of all, starting at one guard position, a 5'7" junior, Faithaleen Lopez-Flores. Also starting at guard, a 5'6" senior, Sierra Anderson. Starting at guard, a 5'9" senior, bound for the University of Washington next year, Kelli Kingma. Starting at guard, a 5'7" sophomore, Imari Clinton. And starting at forward is a 5'11" senior, Anna Johnson. So that's Lopez-Flores, Anderson, Kingma, Clinton, and Johnson for head coach Mark Hayner. His assistant coaches are Nick Anderson and Walt Antoncic, as well as Sean Smith. So, Nate, we can talk a little bit before they bring those players out on the court, but and the band has quit pounding for a while. It's I'm kind of into brass instruments going with the band, but you know, everybody has their way of doing things.
Well, if this was Mark Ockett High School, I think we would have a different band. Is that right?
Yeah, AC/DC would be playing. Taking a look at the officials, Romeo Escalona, Mo Khan, and Jeff McClellan, a crew we're familiar with.
Now you got to like this. I think they're starting to play We Will Rock You.
They are starting to play We Will Rock You.
You can agree on that one, right?
Yeah, that's right. So that's exactly it. So here we are at Jackson, getting ready for tonight's action between the Lake Stevens Vikings and the Jackson Timberwolves. Again, Jackson coming in with a 4-game winning streak. They got a close 2-point victory over Snohomish last Tuesday. We've got 2 games going on for you this week. First of all, tonight's game that it features Jackson and Lake Stevens, and then that will be coming up on Wednesday night. We'll have the Glacier Peak Grizzlies at the Stanwood Spartans. Mike Buckholtz will join me for that one. Again, Glacier Peak at Stanwood. But in between, boys basketball tomorrow night, and it will be Linwood at Monroe. Tom Lafferty and Bill Kusler, Linwood at Monroe. That is coming up tomorrow night. So the first 3 nights of this week, have it tuned to Fox Sports 1380 for our game tonight. Stanwood at Glacier Peak tomorrow in boys, and Glacier Peak at Stanwood in girls on Wednesday night. So we flip-flop it with that and get our first trip up to Stanwood this year. And we'll be looking forward to that and seeing their great maintenance guy, Raleigh Fingers, up there as well. He looks just like Raleigh Fingers, the Baseball Hall of Famer. I am not exaggerating. So they're going out there in the white uniforms, the Jackson Timberwolves, and in their black uniforms, the Lake Stevens Vikings. They've got the black uniforms with the purple numbers and letters, kind of the blackout look like the Huskies have, Nate.
Yeah, and let's see if they can play up to the Lady Dog standards, although the Lady Dogs, I believe, lost to your Cougars this year. Is that right?
First time since the Gerald, not Henry Ford administration that the Cougars have swept the Huskies in a season. Goes back to the 75-76 season. The Cougars had lost 36 in a row to the Husky women until last week. They picked up a win, and then they won a couple of nights ago. So
now
as a Coug, I'm pretty happy about that.
Now do you know what the longest Pac-12 losing streak is since that one has been snapped?
I do not. Do you?
I do. I don't know.
Tell me what it is.
I know.
But we're going to take a break first, and then we'll come back with play-by-play action between the Jackson Timberwolves and the Lake Stevens Vikings here on Fox Sports 1380.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Okay. So we have 1 minute. So we are streaming live during the commercial breaks too on STSPN. So there you go. Hello everybody on STSPN as well. So
Tonight's game is being broadcast live on Fox Sports 1380 and STSPN.com with Mark Ockpat and Nate Tep.
are we looking at time-wise?